Because that woman in the Bible that we are named after was a very mean woman.
Yeah.
Oh, so hint, a mean woman in the Bible.
Sounds like Ruth.
Hint.
Because there's so many distracted drivers on the road. I've been in cars with friends who are following GPS and they have no sense of direction of where they're going.
And I can understand your dislike for microwaves, but why are you still using paper maps and not GPS, Wanjeri?
Because there's so many distracted drivers on the road. I've been in cars with friends who are following GPS and they have no sense of direction of where they're going. So if there is construction or if there's a detour or you keep going in circles because you don't have a sense of direction. So I think GPS has taken away that ability of people to have an idea. Am I going south? Am I going north? Am I lost? I've been in cars with friends where the GPS is just taking them in circles and they actually have no idea how to get out of it, right? And we've seen cases. There's an interesting case a few years ago in Colorado where like 50 cars followed each other into a very dangerous road and all of them were following GPS, right? And to me, I'm like, okay, when you get used to GPS, there's a sense of direction that you lose. And so you're not able to tell instinctively, I'm lost. So when I learned to drive with a map, you can actually tell when you're getting lost, right? You can tell I've gone too far or I need to turn around or I think I missed the street. So that's why I have a very love-hate relationship with GPS.
Okay, all right, good.
The last time you used the GPS.
Yeah, it seems the classes you took in GHC, ile map section where you're supposed to locate a cattle dip and the chief's office. I'm sure you used to score 10 out of 10. Now, we had our own issues with GPS while going to Boston, while in Boston, and while coming back. Mika, karibu sana to the OneMicShow. Please talk to us.
We had an issue with a living GPS, a talking GPS.
Tell us, Mika, tell us about that issue. Tell us about that GPS issue that we had, because it's very interesting that Wanjeri is talking about paper maps, and we had issues with the GPS while we were in the city of Boston. Maybe talk to us, Mika, a little bit about it as unasalimia wasikilizaji. Mika, twende kazi.
Mika, kuna vitu zingine za closet usitoe.
Mika, twende kazi.
Hello listeners, wasikilizaji na watangaziaji. Wanaitokaje? Wachangiaji. How are you?
Wapenzi wachangiaji.
Wapenzi wachangiaji. It's another wonderful Friday and thank you for joining us. Now, as the folks have said, we were in Boston last weekend, shenanigans. So on Friday after that dinner, there was a continuation for the after dinner. Was it on Saturday? And it was in a town called Lowell.
Lowell. And what happened in Lowell?
So we went to Lowell and we had fun. DJ Foreign and Husky really gave us some good tunes to party. And then when we were going home, our GPS decided to input the address and the road of where we were going. It's only that the GPS took us to another city 30 minutes away. When we reached there, we were staring at this huge mansion. And then now I had to come in and talk to the GPS that Wanjeri doesn't like. And that GPS that Wanjeri doesn't like took us back to our hotel. So we also had an issue with the talking, living GPS, but it's okay. At least we got safe. We managed to. It was a nightly drive, but I think when Mike uliona kitu yote tuliona tu highways, ndio at least tunaweza sema tulitembea Boston.
Kulikuwa na view, muliona manyumba, and you got to understand that there is a place in Massachusetts called Hudson.
Here's a key question: who was driving?
Wanjeri.
Well, I wasn't.
Please.
Oh, and by the way, before we even go there, let us just say that somebody was supposed to join us, and that person had said that
they were
person
going to change their shoes.
They were going to change shoes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they will
join us.
They will join us.
Walirudi na party.
Bado tunangoja.
We're still waiting.
Yes, we are still waiting.
So some GPS issues, and to make the driver actually in that situation where instead of going to Woburn where we were, he went to another city called Hudson, which was some half an hour, 40 minutes away. But people got to see a new city. But
I think if that day even had ADC maps at that point, ingekuwa Arab, because jina ilikuwa same.
Yeah,
ilikuwa same road.
So it was the same road.
Same road.
2 Forbes Lane, but in a different city.
Yes.
Hapana, mtu alisoma 2 Forbes Lane akafinya. Hakusoma nini zote. Alikuwa na haraka.
Okay. Akiendaga.
Haraka.
Okay.
Haina baraka.
You have an issue, like some people are asking if Indefatigable is your real name, because that's a name that's known. It's a unique name. So some people want to know, is Indefatigable your real name? And if not, what does Indefatigable mean? How do you say Indefatigable in Kiswahili? Wanjeri?
I think that I've actually never looked up what is Indefatigable in Kiswahili, but I would think it is mtu ambaye hachoki. Or,
You're close.
I think so. I mean, it's somebody who is very
relentless,
who does not get tired. So they're persistent in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually started using that name when I was about 12 years old.
Wow.
So when I was growing up, I had a lot of pen pals from all over the country and all over the world. And that is actually how I started traveling, because I had so many pen pals when I was growing up. And so I had this pen pal from, I think it was Finland or Norway. And we would, so I would send her pictures where we are doing very crazy things in Moranga, like you're chasing chickens or you are farming. So to her, it was a very different, imagine at that age, this girl is sending me pictures of her riding a horse and skiing and all those things. And I'm sending her pictures of, the rabbits we are rearing at home and stuff. So she actually called me "You're very indefatigable," because I would always send her pictures when I'm actually doing stuff at home. And the name, I kind of just took on the name and used it throughout, and I've just never dropped it. So it's not an official name,
okay,
but I use it on these streets basically.
So you're saying you have a name that you're not going to reveal, like Maureen or Joyce or Elizabeth
or Adhiambo?
Yeah, that you're not going to reveal. Is that correct?
I just don't like the name.
Okay.
And I actually found out my cousins don't like the name, because that woman in the Bible that we are named after was a very mean woman.
Yeah.
Oh, so hint, a mean woman in the Bible.
Sounds like Ruth.
Hint.
She was a very mean woman in the Bible, and I feel like, and I know, like, our grandparents were given those names, they picked those names when the missionaries came. But for me, I have just never liked my English name. I don't go by it even at work. If you call me by so my first name is Penina, right? But if anybody calls me by that name, I know for a fact they don't know me. They probably saw my name somewhere on an official record, maybe at school or something, but I know for a fact that is somebody who does not know me very well. If somebody even texts me and tells me, "Oh, Penina, we have a fundraiser," I know I don't have to contribute to that fundraiser. They don't know me. They don't know who they are reaching out to. But that's just the reason why I hate my name. And actually, I found that my cousins who also have the same name, they don't like to use it. So clearly, I'm not alone. And I think I'll change that name at some point.
Okay, Penny. Sorry, Indefatigable.
Yes.
Now, like when you said a mean woman in the Bible, Omosh was here mumbling Ruth. So I don't remember the story of Ruth in the Bible, but the first woman that came to my mind was Delilah. So I was thinking,
that one is not mean. That one was just plain out
Delilah.
evil.
Delilah wasn't mean.
Yeah. What do you
mean? She was just conniving. She wasn't mean.
Okay. Okay.
Jezebel was mean.
Okay. No,
and Penina was, her co-wife, right? They were married to the same woman. So the other lady could not get kids, and she was very mean-spirited. So I mean, I don't think I'm anything like her. And my grandmother was not anything like her. That's why I just don't like the name. And I've never actually gone, even when I was in primary school, in high school, I've never gone by my English name. I've always gone by Wanjeri. Even at work, professionally, people know me as Wanjeri.
Okay.
And I make sure they call me by that name.
Okay, sawa.
So does that mean you like Hannah's or you don't like Hannah's? Just checking.
Oh, it was.
I'm at a stage where I actually don't like English names, period. Right? Like, I feel like we should go by our African names.
Yeah, my name.
Okay.
Sawa. I have a very nice.
We are gonna have an episode about all these
going by English
names.
or non-English names.
Yes. A couple of comments here that have been coming in while we were talking. I can see. Let me see. Ruth Anasema, I'm working on a report and I just typed MapQuest. I think this was in reference to the GPS conversation that we were having.
Yes.
And I also want to welcome Chenjeri and Onyango Hingo in the building. Onyango karibu sana. And then Slay here says, Vile Omosha na cheka, something must have went down. Okay, and we're going to find out if something went down.
Slay, I was see me behind the tent.
And then Udi Anasema, I use GPS and a map and my kids hated me reading. And then Slay anasema choma please nitaongeza mafuta. And then here Esther Mulusa all the way from North Carolina anasema all men I have ridden with cannot stand the female voice of the GPS. It drives them up the wall. I don't know why. Now I've never tried a female voice on a GPS, so I'm gonna try it out to test.
So your GPS has bass.
No, my GPS has I don't know the default voice on my GPS. Is it male or female or is it neutral?
No, mine is female.
It's not gender neutral.
Okay. Now Esther got me thinking. I think my GPS has a female voice. The default voice.
Yes.
Yeah, Google Maps is female.
It is female. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know, and Esther says all the men she has ridden with cannot stand that female voice. So
she's been riding with the wrong man.
You need to.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Why would you have the GPS and also have the voice? That's another thing that never makes sense to me.
Well,
the voice is what okay, so the GPS gives you direction. The voice kind of gives you the reminders.
So I'll tell you something. I know you say that there's but you don't use GPS. But if you've been in jobs where you're driving for long periods of time, trust me, that voice does a lot. Because you don't constantly have your eye on the GPS. So when you're close to 1 mile
or to an exit, it prompts you. It will trigger you and tell you, you're coming up in this, or if like in 2 lights passes light, and then at next light you'll make a right. So that's the voice we're talking about.
Yeah, and then yes, and also alerts like speed drop ahead. Those are very important. They save you a lot of money. Your paper maps, Wanjeri, unfortunately,
I don't speed, so I don't need those.
Your paper maps are not gonna save you from a speed trap. Now Ruth here says, but to be fair, Boston roads are not built to be understood.
No, they're not. When that exit comes, like when you see the exit, that's the exit. Yeah. So if you don't use the exit when that sign is there with the exit, you shall exit at where there is no exit.
And then Rasvik anasema mulikuwa walevi.
Ai.